Okay, let's talk about the Japan trading session, the horrendous session, but also a very good learning session, where in my magnificence, my ingenious trading skills, managed to take a positive account into a negative account. So from the previous trading session, which was the American session, the account was up $38, something like that. I then brilliantly managed to take my account to minus 100. Then I brought it to almost zero. And then I brought it back all the way to minus 150 something. And then I closed that trading session at around minus 125. Go me in my excellence. So, the Japan session taught me some very good lessons. First of all, I don't know why I was trading at the open. It just I don't know why. I just saw a move and I just spontaneously jumped in. So that was a great lesson learned. Don't ever do that again. Also, during that session, I just realized that with all of my current knowledge, I just couldn't figure out when the market was going sideways, and when it did go sideways, why I continued to trade, and what was a good reason for me to be trading during that time, and when was the market gonna break out of that sideways movement. I couldn't figure that out, and it just irritated me, and I just said, surely an indicator must exist that tells me when the market is going to go sideways. Surely there must be an indicator that exists. And at the same time, I also decided to look at my broker's indicator, add an indicator button, and then there was a little tab subsection that said popular indicators. And that made me curious, because I looked at that and I said, of all the indicators that this broker offers me, why is it that they've identified that all of the people that use their brokerage, they've identified that they use these most common? Why? What are they? And is there stuff that I'm missing? So I looked at that tab, and there really aren't that many things that are listed in the most commonly used section. I know most of them. That's what I realized. Some of them I've used in the past. Some of them I've dabbled with, and then there were two or three, or some of them I know I just are relevant to my style of trading. And then there were two or three that I saw for the first time. I've never seen these things before in my life, and I decided to play around with them. So that's thing number one. And also, because of this now, I need to figure out I need to hone my sideways movement market techniques. It led me into ChatGPT, or it was Facebook Meta, same thing, basically the AI search, and that got me to ask the question, tell me what indicators I should be using for a sideways moving market, and what do you know? Lo and behold, it told me an indicator in the most popular used section that I'd never used before in my life. So I'm so glad that I did that. So even though, and then I logged off, I'd long logged off at that stage. I mean, at this stage, it's probably the next day where I'm just kind of thinking. And then, so a couple of days have passed now, because now I've had to go into testing mode again, testing out these new indicators, because there were different ones that obviously I've used before and some I've never used before. Testing out which ones actually work for my strategy, which ones I should be using. What else? And then also at the same time I was testing pyramiding, pyramiding my stacking my trades. So yeah, it was a good lesson, learning lesson. that particular Japan session, simply just because even though it was a drawdown day, it led me to a very good indicator that I'm currently using, and I love it. I really do. It led me to testing those indicators against other indicators. It led me to rearranging and mapping out how I was going to arrange my monitor setup, because all of these things like leads to tweaks. It really does, and that's why I mentioned in the previous video, you just don't know what you don't know until you are in the trenches, and it really sucks when you get blindsided. But it's all leading. It's just love the journey. Just vent it out and love the journey, because sorry, I am getting tired, so I'm trying to make this energetic as possible. Just love the journey, man, because it's refining you into mastery at the end of the day. And also it's a step above and beyond what rookies don't know about. So I think so that's kind of, like, I want to keep this video short. That was the breakdown for that trading session. It wasn't great. I still pulled off some relatively good trades to bring it back to almost break even. So yeah, like, celebrate those wins. But at the end of the day, I closed off that session halfway through the like, there was still a good couple of hours, but I just realized, like, cool, I need to go back into testing mode and try all these things out. And it also, I immediately wrote down this list of questions. So this is what I was referring to in the previous video. I'm going to read them out, and maybe if like, they inspire you, then awesome. But they were a good reflection for me. And another thing, in the previous video I was like, cool, hey, let me go experiment with making extra videos and giving myself extra work, because to help out this friend. Well, that friend was clearly just looking for a quick buck kind of experience, because I shared that video with him, and I was like, cool, tell me what you think. And I didn't get any reply back. So it just goes to show, man, some people just because I hadn't heard from that guy in years, even though I do consider him a friend still, and always will. And I wish him all the best too. But like, some people just pop into your life, and they know, and like, they hear you trading still or whatever, and they're like, cool, I'm desperate for a quick buck, man, show me. That's not the game. There are gamblers that can teach you how to do that. Please learn from them. But then know that you're going to be gambling. It's not how I operate. And yeah, it just goes to show, like, people, when they come with that kind of hustle mentality, even sending them like my previous video, I'm like, cool, this is what you will be getting if you want to go down this road with me. And he was talking about he had other friends who wanted to learn from me, but hey, no reply, no response. And it's just like, I just realized also, like, cool, fantastic idea, but like, it will have a lot more value when I can say, like, cool, job done, I am actually making money as a trader, as opposed to speculating that I have the potential to do so. Like, yeah, like, people want to learn from people who are actually making the cash, as opposed to people who have just kind of, that's where my headspace is at the moment. Like, yes, cool, I can fast track you because of, at least I'm not on step 0, but still, like, it's, the gap is then, are you profitable or not? That's really just like if I could learn from somebody who's profitable, or learn from somebody who's kind of ambitiously getting there, I'd rather learn from somebody who's profitable. So again, man, it just goes back to you don't know what you don't know until you're there. So till then, I'm not making a course. That was a great idea for sometime in the future. But for now, it's like, it was a great spontaneous at the time idea. I'm happy that I have that idea in my head. Let it grow back, but like, also let it be backed by evidence. So yeah, that's where I'll leave that topic. Let's go on with these questions. So, stuff for you to think about if you've never thought about it before and you are a rookie trader and you're just getting started. Here are some things for you to think about. And I hope that it helps. So, first off, timing. When are you going to get in? And then when you do get in which direction are you going to be getting in? Are you aware that markets move up, that they move down, and they move sideways? When they move sideways, you're not going to be making any money. When they move sideways, they also tend to have fake outs, and then they go back into sideways moves. So make sure you're not losing your money during sideways market moves. Here's a question for you. When are you going to get out if you are right? And also, when are you going to get out if you are wrong? Stop loss. Please, please, please have a plan for your stop loss. You should be entering 100% of your trades with a stop loss. So let's talk about stop loss. At what point are you going to put your stop loss? Is it too wide? Are you going to move your stop loss? Are you going to have a limit with your trade? Is your stop loss too close to where the market is? Is it far too far? What is the perfect spot when you're going to where you're going to put your stop loss? I'm going to come back to that. There are other questions that need to be asked first, but just anchor that in your mind. Okay, next question. How much are you going to risk of your money per trade? Now let's come back to the stop loss. How fast is the market moving? Is the market moving 5 points per minute or 150 points per minute? Because that will affect your stop loss. Do you know how to find out how fast the market is moving per minute, per whatever time frame it is that you use? Next question. When not to trade? Do you know when not to trade? It's funny. I'm saying these things to you, but at the same time to myself. So, for example, do you know when the market is most likely going to be going into sideways moves? Are you aware that there's a thing called support and resistance? Do you know, do you have a plan for those? Do you have a plan when not to trade and when to trade? Do you know that markets fake out? I mentioned that. And how long are you going to stay in and hold? Do you have a plan for holding? Do you know when the market is going to change direction? Can you figure that out? When are you going to stack or / pyramid your trades? Do you have a plan for that, or is it just on the cuff? Have you had time to practice it? Because I know I sure need my time with that. Okay, different topic. What about the mental game? So this is more about, think about if you have a relationship with these emotions, how is your relationship with fear or anxiety, with money in general, with things like greed or an emotion like euphoria? What's your relationship with all of these emotions? Seriously, think about that. What's your emotion? What's your off the cuff? I've got extra questions here that I didn't write down. What is your relationship with things like discipline? Do you actually want this? Like, are you willing to put in the hours and get in the chart time over and above your hectic, busy scheduled day? That's why I'm recording this, and it's almost 1 a.m, because my busy day at the moment, the way things are going out, means I don't have time during the day to trade the German DAX. That's why I have to be up at ridiculous hours and have the energy and the focus to be able to trade Japan, get through my day, and then have that sliver of time to trade the closing couple of hours in the DAX, not the DAX, the Dow Jones. And over above that, record an entertaining video. So, for me, though, as my journal. So, do you have the discipline? What's your emotion? What's your relationship with things like discipline? Next, what about your financial planning? How are you doing with money in general? Are you planning or gearing your mind towards tax as well? Because what's the point of making all this cash and then getting it in your bank account and then blowing all of it and then getting a massive tax bill that you haven't planned for during the tax window? So plan these things ahead so that it doesn't surprise you. Other questions. When do you withdraw your money? Like, you still need a trading capital to expand and grow with. But at the same time, you need to withdraw money so that you can live. So Do you have a plan for that? When you structure, like, are you structuring your finances at the end of the day so that you aren't going to get screwed or like surprised by things that come, but like don't get blindsided. In other words, other questions, timing. So are you familiar do you know when the markets are open and when they're closed? When it's pre-market and when it's actual market? Are you trading during the right times? What about public holidays? Are you aware when markets have public holidays? Because if you're not, then find a website that shows you the market public holidays so that you don't get blindsided. Do you know websites where news affects the market that you're currently trading? Because I know the only reason why I know these questions is because I got blindsided. Simple as that. So these are battle scars, in other words, that I'm saying. And then finally, what is this? I need to read my handwriting for a second. When does the market move? Cool. Do you know when the market moves on a second by second, if you're a day trader, or minute or hourly basis? Are you getting in at times that work for you versus are you getting in at times that will blindside you? Like, for example, you will get in on the right side of the market that's trending. So like you'll get in, but you'll also get in at the wrong time. So even though you're on the right side, if it's at the wrong time, you will get stopped out. Simple as that. So like monitor your timing. The market moves at certain times. Find out when those times are. I won't say any more there. You have to do the work at the end of the day. But I know these questions because I've analyzed this stuff. So a little bit rambly, I know, but I think there was value there with this sheet. And at the end of the day, that's my journal. Now let's go into the next trading session that I had. A couple of days later now have passed because I've had to think mentally about like how I'm going to structure my setup, how I'm going to test, what am I going to test for. That took some time. It really, really did. But it paid off because I had a record-breaking trading session. So let's talk about that in the next video.